Now United want Rio as sporting director. Really? What? Mike Phelan, Rio? I mean, as the roulette wheel continues to go around with the Man United head instead of red or black, what's it going to land on? Roy Keane?
No.
Arthur Albiston?
No.
Peter Schmeichel?
Peter Schmeichel, maybe.
No.
Peter Schmeichel has a better chance than Roy Keane.
No, they're all ridiculous. Rio Ferdinand's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
You need somebody who has scouted every single team, who knows all the scouts. You need someone who, understands exactly. Rio Ferdinand has met Manchester United Executive Vice Chairman Ed Woodward to discuss becoming the club sporting director. Now, do you think Rio has that meeting and says, here, I want the job, and Ed goes, well, you're in the media, so I'm going to have to sit here and smile and listen and go, yeah, Rio, yeah, sure, you can leak this now, make me look stupid again. Well, I suppose, what's the price of you not just having a go at me?
Is this Rio Ferdinand news dependent on Solskjaer turning things back around once again?
United's owners, the Glazer family, have been keen to get the former England defender on board since his retirement 4 years ago, but personal circumstances made that unworkable. Ferdinand did his best to undercut David Moyes, and now it turned out he was right about Moyes, so maybe that was the right thing to do. Maybe the standards dropped so precipitously when Moyes arrived that it was incumbent upon the senior players like Ferdinand to go, this is the wrong guy. We are doing things wrong. This is not how you do things at a team that's going to win the championship or compete for the European Cup. So maybe he did know a lot about that. And maybe, you kind of have to reconsider how his United career ended at that point. But I don't know. United are restructuring and want someone to oversee transfer strategy and talks while being in tune with the manager. Ferdinand, given his United links and business experience. Woodward has identified Ferdinand, given his United links and business experience. I don't know. Ferdinand's not the right character for this yet. If he wants to be that person down the road, you got to go and spend your time, or you got to be your assistant to somebody who you're plugging in from the global game, who is absolutely immersed in how transfers work, what the best contractual nuances are in the world of sport at the moment, in how the finances of the club are supposed to be run, and somebody who completely is on top of what 14-year-old goalkeeper at Ajax is the best 14-year-old goalkeeper in the world. It's
impossible to be completely on top of that. It's obviously huge teams that are running these scouting missions, but I guess there is a learned experience you can get about how to run a team like that, or how to be a sporting director. How do you become a successful sporting director? You'd imagine that a lot of it is learning on the job, or, as you say, being assistant sporting director, or seeing how somebody better than you does it. When you talk about some of the best sporting directors in the world, it's very tough to see how you actually get to that level without years and years of being involved in the business of football. And ultimately, has Rio Ferdinand been involved in the business of football? Maybe he has. You look at his kind of presence on social media, for example. He's very careful of brand Ferdinand. He kind of had a fly on the wall sort of live action documentary about him made during the World Cup last year, just as part of his own brand. He does seem to have a lot of business now, but ultimately that's just not enough to become a sporting director. No, and it's all been business now about an individual as opposed to about a team or a club. Here's his reaction on BT Sport immediately after Man United's dramatic last gasp Champions League win against PSG.
Listen, all he's got to, Man United might not thank me, but get the contract out, put it on the table. Yeah. Let him sign it, let him write whatever numbers he wants to put on there, given what he's done now since he's come in, and let him sign the contract and go. Ollie's at the wheel, man, he's doing it, he's doing his thing. Man United are back.
That should have been the closing. I should have let you do it tonight.
Well, himself and Gary Neville that night, I think, disqualified themselves from being the sporting director of Manchester United. Did you see the Gary Neville Ole Gunnar Solskjaer interview after that?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can't, you're too emotionally invested in this. You need to take a step back and be business people for this job, for these roles.
Well, being invested, I can't imagine you can't be emotionally invested in Manchester United if you want to be sporting director of Manchester United. That's okay.
You can't be making emotional decisions like write down whatever numbers you want on this contract, David De Gea, or Marcus Rashford, or whoever who's just done this amazing thing. Go on, I'm going to negotiate with you right this second, because that's the precise moment that we do business.
There is still a little bit of room for emotion when it comes to the business of football.
Is
But
there?
granted, it's a lot colder than it used to be.
Yeah, your manager can have emotion if that's what he's using as a tool and a spur, but like Cheeky Begerstein can't be having emotion when it comes to deciding whether or not they're going to spend 50 million on Raheem Sterling or 50 million on somebody else or try and sign Alexis Sanchez. Like,
but when you have that conversation with Raheem Sterling or with Raheem Sterling's agent, granted agents aren't the most emotional people in the world.
so they're pretty emotional. They're like the general joy at the money that they're stealing from you.
Emotion is a useful tool in any negotiation, no? It's not as important as the bottom line, of course. But I'm not saying it's completely null and void. And I think that he cares about Manchester United, and I don't think that should be used to disqualify him.
Caring about him should qualify, but saying you can write whatever numbers you want in the contract, facetiously or not, like, no thanks. I'll have somebody's going to go, we're just going to wait a couple of days and see how you get on. Maybe we're just going to wait until the end of the season here, Ole. You know, who knows? Maybe you'll limp out of the Champions League in the next round against Barcelona, and we'll see that actually you're not quite fully on top of this job just yet. Maybe that's what we'll find out. And in the summer, as Maurizio Pochettino celebrates his Champions League victory, we'll go, yeah, come on, Poch, come on. 20 million, who cares? It's only, we've spent 800 million on shit players.